We're back at another historic short track here in the Gatorade Cup Series. We head to the Rockingham Speedway, for the running of the Oreo 400 run under the lights, our first of two races here at Rockingham this season. On the pole for this race, Trip McGinnis in the 19, two's outside the 33 of Alexander Rowe. Then in third we have Keegan Thompson, fourth is Ryan Taylor, running out the top five of the 71 car of Justin Lightning. Then sixth there's Code Luigi, seventh is Stephen Taylor, Anthony Hernandez in eighth, ninth place is Jacob Davison, and Landon Lyons rounds out the top 10. The rest of the field, there's Dale Lightning to his inside, Jay Jefferson. Then we have Luke Green with the American Red Cross scheme once again, two's outside the 98 of Max Anderson. Then we have Nathan Stapleton, last race winner and points leader, Peninsula in the 77, a lot of momentum coming into this race. Then behind we have Griffin Lane and Roberto Rivera, along with Danny Lloyd and Levi Shones. Then two teammates Steve Larker and Carter Friesen. Then there's Charles Robert and Josh Crash, along with TJ Hanley and Sebastian Kukulan. Then we have a few Rosa teammates, Jeff Bright in the 5, Lawrence Poundpond in the 24. Then behind them more teammates, Joe Jefferson second in points, to his outside teammate Patrick Smith. Then we have Jonathan Beeford and Mathis Wells, along with Greg Torres and Tim Gary. Then we have Adam McDowell and Diego Yepes, two Galloways, Jake and Oliver. Then we have Eli Bright and Anton Charlebois. And in the final row, Zachary Fitzwater Sr. in the 47 starting in the 41st position. To his outside 42nd is the number 75 of Derek Hamill. That is our 40-car field for the Oreo 400 here at Rockingham. Let's get it started. Let's go down track so I get the command to fire these engines up.
Drivers, start your engine!
And our 42-car field rolls off the starting grid, firing those 42 engines up. McGinnis, Alexander roll off the starting grid. We saw a wild Pennzoil Truck Series race last night. We saw some great racing and a great finish. How will this Gatorade Cup Series race go? 60 laps here at Rockingham. It could be 60 green flag laps. It could have some yellow sprinkled in. We do know tire wear very high. They will have to make a pit stop at some point in this race. They cannot make it all the way on fuel. 60 laps into the restart zone for McGinnis and Rowe. They step on the gas, and we're green flag racing here at Rockingham. The inside lane with a great start there. McGinnis and Keegan Thompson side by side, and Keegan Thompson edges out McGinnis to lead lap number 1. Now Justin Lightning to the inside for a second. The 71 cars, they come down the back stretch. And the outside is just going to continue to fade. There's the 7 of Griffin Lane to the wall back there. He drops back, and Derek Hamill's on the apron, the 75 with an issue. Hamill slows down the back stretch. He might not make it back around to the pits. That could cause a yellow flag if he stops there. And if Gatorade Cup Series officials deem that is unsafe. Front few get clear single file. Thompson leads our pole serve, Trip McGinnis around. As they come off turn number 2 and down the backstretch, there's Derek Hamill down low in the 75. He stops, he gets teleported back. We do not have a yellow flag as of now, so we're still green flag racing for now. Thompson, now here comes McGinnis to the bottom lane for the race as they come off turn number 4. Side by side down this front straightaway. I believe it may have been the 19 to barely lead that lap. That's very close there. They're going to give it to the 6 of Thompson once again. But now McGinnis wants his first lap of the night. He started on pole. He fell back to the second position. But now he gets up front. He's leading right now here in the Oreo 400. He clears Keegan Thompson to turn number 3. Great job there by McGinnis. They're getting clear. He's going to lead a lap right here to get some bonus points. Here comes Jacob Davison in the 99 car. He had the points lead going into North Wilkesboro, and then he was on his lid early in the race and lost that point, so he's looking to get it back, or at least get some positions back here in the points. He's going for that second position on teammate Keegan Thompson. But look at them sideways off the corner trying to control the cars. Thompson keeps the second position for now. But through 3 and 4, the 6 went up the racetrack. 99 a little bit lower there. Davidson in the 99. Going to grab that second spot as they come down the front stretch. Thompson keeps at the stripe, though. Davidson has the preferred line through 1 and 2. He had the position as well. If he was just a little bit further back, the 6 could have tried, but right there's nothing Thompson could do. Just gives the 99 the spot, drop back in line to 3rd. Luke Green's emerged inside the top 5 of the 2 car. So he's looking to win for the American Red Crosses. All with Hurricane Florence going on that hit the Carolinas and all those places on the East Coast. And Luke Green going to try and race to victory lane for those involved in the hurricane and the American Red Cross. Well, it'd be great to see Luke get to victory lane. It's been such a struggling season for him. It'd be great to see him, get one here at Rockingham. Up here, up ahead, Thompson now pressuring Jacob Davidson. So these Roush teammates, they're not letting each other get away quite yet. So they're still side by side for the second position. 9 up top, 6 down low. And Thompson's now got the position into turn number 1 right here. So they go through 1 and 2. Davidson up the racetrack. The 6 down low, going to grab that second position as they come down the backstretch. Davidson a great run off the top side, trying to get back by the 6. Pulls ahead to turn number 3, but once again, that outside lane not working in 3 and 4. And Keegan Thompson grabs that second position away, so he gets it back. And that battling's allowed Luke Rainey, Max Harrison, Alexander Rowe, Pena Salata, Charles Harp, they've all closed in now, as those 2 were bound for 2nd and 3rd. Luke tried to use the bomb lane, got a little tight there and had to lift. Allowed those front 3 to get clear and get away as they come down the backstretch. Back there, the 20 and the 14 making some contact as this front pack is really spread out single file as they really pulled away from about 12th on back. This about for 12th. Patrick Smith trying to get by Steven Taylor. You have Code Luigi, you have Carter Friesen. All these drivers really fell back. I don't know what happened there, but obviously they didn't keep pace with those front 11, and it looks like really those front 11 have pulled away to a nice gap, and they are all kind of together. It's all very close here. As Thompson trying to run this 19 Trent McGinnis back down. He's getting a great run through 3 and 4 right here. Gets to the inside down this front straightaway. 50 laps of racing to go here at Rockingham. Thompson to the inside, McGinnis through 1 and 2. And side by side off the corner and down the backstretch. Trent McGinnis trying to use that high lane run to get back by the 6. He pulls ahead but cannot clear into turn number 3. Now where does Davidson go on the 9 as 6 goes up the racetrack? Now Davidson to the bottom lane for the lead. So as McGinnis falls back to 3rd, now 4th. Now the 9-9 to the inside of the 6 for the lead. Davidson, Thompson side by side to turn 1. The 9-9 a little bit lower onto the 8, but the 6 really messed up the corner. Went way higher than they should have. But gets a great run off the corners, get clear down the backstretch. Great job there by Keegan Thompson, getting that car to roll through the corner and get clear. And now Luke Rainey, he's pressuring the 9-9 of Davidson. Can he make a move? He stays in line for now. The 98 car, Max Harrison also there. The 9 Charles Robert, the 33 of Alexander Rowe. Can Davidson close on his teammate Keegan Thompson in the 6? And McGinnis from the lead, still falling back. He might fall outside the top 10. Yeah, that 19 car, so not handling that well. He cannot find a hole down low as well. Luke Rainey trying to use that middle lane there, trying to get around. Jacob Davidson went a little bit higher. 9-9 blocking down to that yellow line. Luke staying in line for now. Now looks to the inside to turn 1. That's what Jacob Davidson down. Keegan Thompson didn't work for Davidson. We'll see if Luke can make it work on that 9-9. Once again, Davidson, a great run off the top side, gets clear down the back. And look at Charles Robert with a run onto the 98 car of Max Harrison. Robert moves inside the top 5. And he might move for 3rd right here. Big run. 9 car on Luke Rainey. Got a little tight at the corner, maybe a little loose. And falls back, but keeps that 4th position over Max Harrison and Alexander Rowe. And Keegan Thompson trying to check out. That 99 car is not as fast as the 6 as of now. But once again, tire wear is very big here at Rockingham. Someone could be fast early in the run, and then they could fall off on the second half of the run. We are about halfway through this run. These drivers can go anywhere from about 30 laps to about 35 laps on this Sunoco Racing fuel. So they're about halfway through a run right now. So this could be where some drivers start to fade and some drivers start to come forward. Be very interesting to see who does and what happens here. Thompson may have gotten the wall off turn number 2. He dropped back a little bit. He did lose some time there to Jacob Davidson, who pulled away from the 2. Luke Rainey just a little bit right there. And Luke was pressuring Davidson, but now the 2's starting to get a little pressure from the 9. I think that's really hurting Luke's car right now. But they do have some pit stops coming up. They can try and make their cars better. So as the race for the leads kind of calmed down, there's no real battles inside the top 5. Here's the battle for 7th place. Jake Jefferson, Sebastian Kukulon side by side. Jefferson a great run off the top side. Kukulon's trying to get there to turn 3. Looks like the 78 went up the racetrack. 33 down low. Alexander Rowe gonna grab the 5th position. Max Harrison went way up the racetrack. Kukulon's gonna grab 7th right here. Patrick Smith for 8th. He's gonna take it as well. Jefferson falls back to 9th right there. And now Davidson closing back in on teammate Keegan Thompson. Maybe the 6 overdrove the car a little bit earlier in the run to try and pull away. Now 9-9 coming forward. Shones is 7 laps down in the 17 car. So obviously he had an issue like the 75, who was 4 laps down. So Levi Shones is just nightmare of a season continues here at Rockingham. He's just not had any luck so far in Gatorade Cup Series season number 8. Started out so well at the Daytona 500 pole. Looked like he was going to have a great season, but now it's turned into an ugly mess for the 17 team, as right now 2 of his teammates run inside the top 2. And the only teammate we don't see up here for Roush Fenway of Shones's is the 16 of Adam McDowell, who's currently scored 22nd, so mid-pack for the 16 car. Right here, some of these drivers trying to fight through. Here's Joe Jefferson. He's second in points inside the top 20, trying to move his way forward, get every point he can. Because Pena Salada right now up towards the front of the field in the 11th position. So Salada would gain points over Joe Jefferson. They're sideways everywhere, trying to make passes up here. Thompson, look at him trying to use that bottom lane to his advantage, trying to protect that bottom lane, trying to get that 9-9 dirty air. But Davidson went high right there. 40 laps of racing to go. Keegan Thompson leads, but it's Davidson and Luke Rainey hunting him down, along with Charles Robert in the 9. They go through 1 and 2. Davidson wants to get a little bit higher, trying to get the run. Thompson trying to protect that bottom lane as they come down the back stretch. I think it's a little bit early to try and be blocking your teammate off. But he's doing it. Front 3 run pretty similar lines. They own 1, Charles Robert down there in 4th, using a little bit of a lower lane. As these drivers get closer, there's Yepez on pit road in the A7. So another car, maybe with an unscheduled pit stop. Yepez now on pit road, as these leaders still battle for the lead. Davidson trying to run down Keegan Thompson with Luke Rainey in the 2, attached to the 9-9. Wherever that 9-9 goes, the 2 trying to help out. I think Luke knows if he tries to attempt a pass in the 9-9, it may drop them back at Keegan Thompson, and Thompson could just pull away and dominate to win this race. Once again, the 6 up the racetrack a little bit. 9-9 about half a lane lower. Yepez leaves the pits as they come down the back stretch. So whatever it is on the A7, it was an unscheduled pit stop, puts him about 1 or 2 laps down. He will have to hope that this race goes green. They can come down pit road and hope for a caution to come out once it all cycles through. Come down and not lose any laps. But the front really 6 have kind of pulled away. Sebastian Kugelon 7th also trying to join that party. But it's these 6 cars right now that really have a shot. This is kind of different from what we see in past Rockingham Gatorade Cup Series races. It is very hard to pass right now. But from what we've seen, it was normally a few cars would pull away, and there would be a battle amongst those 3 or say. But it's more cars than ever than we see at the front of the field here in the Gatorade Cup Series race at Rockingham. But still Keegan Thompson leading. His teammate, though, hungry for a win, hungry to get back to the points lead. Jacob Davidson hunting his teammate and Keegan Thompson, but goes up the racetrack through 1 and 2 and drops back. Now Luke Rainey closes in. Here's a battle for 4th. Robert has it at the 9. Rowe wants it at the 33 as they enter turn number 3. 33 drives it hard. Down to that line, almost contact with Patrick Smith. Rowe really backed up the entrance to get a run off the corner. That was a great move there by the 33 of Rowe. He's going to grab the 4th position from Charles Robert to turn 1. And how about Yepez on the fresher tires? Remember, he's a few laps down. He wants to get one of them back with these fresh tires, and you can see how much fresh tires work here. He's running some fast laps. Cars are getting in the way. These are the race leaders. These drivers inside the top 10. And they're getting in the way of a lap car. Look at Yepez running over Patrick Smith. Oh, the 9 coming down pit road. Charles Robert comes down, and that's going to start green flag pit cycles. He wants those tires sooner. I don't blame him. Get the tires on fast. But he's the only one to have come down pit road. The rest stay on the racetrack for now. So the 9 car, Charles Robert, with some aggressive strategy. Going to try and get those tires on quicker. That was an unscheduled pit stop. It just happened to fall where it did. How about Yepez? He's flying through this field. Just got by Alexander Rowe. Rowe's running in the 4th position. Look at Luke trying to keep that A7 behind him. It's just not going to work. I think he's just trying to keep it to where he's not going to lose any time. Just let Yepez go down the straightaway. Don't lose much time. Yepez trying to get one of his laps back, and he does. Look at him flying around these drivers. Davidson went high. And look at how much ground the 9-9 lost. And look at the 2 losing now to the 33 because the A7 went up by the 2 in the corner. So Rowe moves to 3rd. Davidson falls all the way back to 2nd as Keegan Thompson now trying to hold off Yepez. And look at the A7 driving to the inside of our race leader. He's going to get him down the backstretch. That is the race leader getting passed fast. That just shows what these tires do. And that has allowed Thompson to pull away. I think that lap car really did hurt Jacob Davidson right there. Almost halfway through the race. 31 laps of racing to go. Keegan Thompson leads the race. He's dominated so far tonight. Jacob Davidson's teammate right now in 2nd, but Thompson goes way up the track, into the wall of turn 2. And now here comes Davidson in the 9 with a big run. McGinnis also taps the wall. Man, that 6 really messed up 1 and 2. And Davidson's right there already. The gap at the line last time was half a second. That half a second is gone. It is now in favor of Jacob Davidson. He takes the lead down the front straightaway. Davidson leads at halfway. And I think I saw Luke Rainey come down here on the 2. He's going to get tires early. Same with Steven Taylor and some of these others. So green flag pit cycles have started. And Jacob Davidson has stayed on the racetrack to keep the race lead. Look at Jay Jefferson knocking the wall down back there. That means the tire wear is very high. And we should see drivers coming down here at any moment. Here they come. Davidson to the pits with Thompson, Rowe. Who dares stay on the racetrack? Does anyone? McGinnis will stay out. Jay Jefferson will stay on the racetrack. Those two hoping for a caution flag to come out. McGinnis and Jefferson stay on the racetrack. And I'm not seeing anyone else. I think it's just those two. And there's the 75 Derek Hamlin. Remember, he is multiple laps down, about 4 or 5. There's Jones, he's about 7 laps down. So these two should hit the pits this time by the 1978. This will now make this interesting. The 1978, they're obviously going to lose a ton of time. Now, how do the 9 and the 6 come out compared to the 2 of Luke Rainey with so much fresher tires? Here's Luke on the racetrack. Where's the 6? Where's the 99? The 6 just getting those left sides on now. Drops the jack. He has to wait a little bit. That hesitation is going to lose him the race lead. Away goes Davidson with the lead. But here comes the 2 of Luke Rainey on a few lap fresher tires. That is 1 lap's difference out of the 2 of Luke Rainey. It marches him to the front here at Rockingham. That was 1 lap on the tires. That's just 1 lap on Luke Rainey's tires. He came down a little bit sooner, and it powers him to the lead. He has a nice gap as well. He just has to conserve his tires now. This could be Luke's night. Here he comes down the backstretch. Lap cars ahead, though. That's going to be a big issue as well. These lappers, how are they going to play into it? Now, we say Luke Rainey is the race leader. He will be once everything cycles through. Yepes, remember, he has unscheduled pit stop. He's now back on the lead lap, currently ahead of the 2, along with the 9. Charles Arbor came down a lot sooner. He's right now up here. He is right now our race leader, but that is if he, he might have to make another pit stop. Look at these cars run high. Some cars coming down pit road again. Here comes Derek Hamlin to the pits. Remember, he had never come down. He had just stalled on the racetrack. That's why he had already technically had made his pit stop. So now Luke Rainey is the driver with the freshest tires of the front 3. He's going to move around Yepes right here through 1 and 2. So Luke now to second in the number 2 car. There's a good ways to get to Charles Robert in the 9, who's kind of pulled a nice little gap. Robert is about 3.5 seconds ahead. But remember, the 2 tires are about 5 to 6 laps fresher now. So we're looking for the 9 car. There he is on the outside. So Charles Robert on the outside lane. And he is almost 4 seconds ahead of the 2 of Luke Rainey. Once again, on some worn tires. And the big question is, can he even make it on fuel? So they go through 3 and 4. Robert leading. We only saw these drivers go 30 laps, so Robert, if we think about it, should be about 5, 6, 7 laps short on fuel. And how's Luke Rainey doing? He pitted at halfway. Hopefully he can make it to the end on fuel. Here he is. Yepes powered back around him. So Luke in the 2 has fallen back down to the clutches, and it is a battle for the lead now. Yepes, Luke, Thompson, and Jacob Davidson have all come together. That's the battle for the 2nd position. Luke Rainey, we thought he got around the 87. That lap car may have played interference, though. Now the 2 finally gets around the 87, but the gap has increased up to over 5 seconds. Yeah, something had to have happened back here with lap traffic or something, which really allowed the 9 to pull away. Once again, now the 2 gets back away. We'll see how Keegan Thompson and the 99 can do. Remember, the 99, the 6, and the 14, they have 1 lap fresher tires than the 2 of Luke Rainey. Now Thompson trying to get around the lap car. Steve Locker to get into position, trying to pass Luke Rainey. Because for all we know, this could be the race for the lead. This could be the race for the win. But right now, it's Charles Robert with the lead and the 9 car. Jones now leaves the pits in the 17. Remember, he had to come down pit road. So the gap back to the 2 of Luke Rainey is 5.7 seconds. Charles Robert in the 9 car has 21 laps to go. But the big question, does he have enough fuel and how do the tires hold up? Right now the gap back to the 2 has closed down by 0.2. It's under now to 5.5 seconds as the 2, the 6, and the others try to run down the 9 of Robert. We'll look back on this battle for a second. It's Luke Rainey, Keegan Thompson, Patrick Smith, and Jacob Davidson. The 87 has fallen to 6 and is still going to fade. Here comes Alexander Rowe, Roberto Rivera, Max Anderson, Steven Taylor. He could fall outside the top 10 if he's not careful. And here are some of these drivers right here. Look at this battle back here, about for 17th position. Battles all over this racetrack. And the drivers that came down sooner, obviously, this is what's great about Rockingham. This tire wear produced some fantastic racing. The gap opened back up to 5.6 seconds. So Luke is not really gaining much, if at all, as Charles Robert lets the A3 Oliver Galway get a lap back right there. And Robert's still trying to save fuel as well. I really don't know if he can make it on fuel. We'll have to see here. Charles Robert, the gap down to 5.3 seconds. Right now just trying to ride around out there. 18 laps of racing to go for the number 9. And behind the battle for second, third, and fourth, raging on. It's the 2, the 14. Now the 6 and the 99 battling for fourth. That's two teammates. They've been battling pretty much all race. Davidson moves to fourth, and the gap is under 5 seconds. That's Luke Rainey, Patrick Smith closing in. Remember, Smith has 1 lap fresher tires than the 2 of Luke Rainey. Remember, they have about 5, 6, 7 lap fresher tires than the 9 Charles Robert, who leads this race. And look at Smith attack the corner. He's going to get to second right here. Up the corner, 17 laps of racing to go. The gap last time was 4.9, this time by 4.7. That was a tenth there. They need more than a tenth, though. They need a lot right here with them being side by side. That's going to hurt them. Luke almost up into the wall. Four wheels slide the corner. And it'll lose some ground. Patrick Smith's going to get second. 14 car to second position. Now can Patrick Smith run down Charles Robert here with Luke Rainey behind in second. Smith, what's the gap now for the 14? Down to 4.2. Robert is slowing with the worn tires and lap traffic moving to his inside. The 9 car losing tons of time. 15 to go this time by. Charles Robert falls back in heavy lap traffic. He lets the 43, the 31 go on by. Wants to get back down to the inside. It's going to be under 4 seconds now. The gap down to 3 seconds. That was a whole second. They cut off right there. The 14, the 2 there coming. Robert fading back. Look at the battle back here as Patrick Smith got high. Luke Rainey trying to look to the bottom lane. He's also trying to keep Steve Larker behind. Now the 14 up the racetrack. And the 2 a little bit lower, but the 34 even lower. That's a lap car. Getting in the mix for the battle for a second, which could be for the lead. And back here, these drivers battle for 4th and 5th. Davidson, Keegan Thompson, they have to get single file to try and run down these drivers. As Luke and Smith go up the racetrack, they gap down to 2 3/4 seconds. Off pit road comes Derek Hamill. That is what Robert wants to see. Wants to see another car in between he and second place. Steve Larker still cannot get by Luke Rainey. Finally does off turn number 4. But Luke loses a ton of time right there. Now Patrick Smith has pulled away in second. The gap down to under 2.5 seconds. Now Robert has 13 laps to go. When does the fuel run out? Does the fuel run out? Now Derek Hamill's going to get by him in the 75. Great run for the 75 here. Yepez on pit road. Robert, still your race leader, but the gap has closed big time. Down to 2.1 seconds. That was a 0.3 of a second gain that time by on Patrick Smith. They're coming to 11 to go. The 1 of Dale Lightning goes high. The 9 Charles Robert down low. On those worn tires, the 9 is obviously struggling. You can visually see it as the others try to close in. Robert can move him around. Dale Lightning down the front stretch as Lightning slows with an apparent issue. The gap now down to 1.5 seconds. It's under 1.5 seconds as Patrick Smith closes in on the 9 of Charles Robert. He's going to get to him. He's going to get to him right here as the 9 is coming down pit road. Robert will have to hit the pits. And Patrick Smith now with the race leads. He moves around Dale Lightning. 10 to go. 14 car leads. So the fuel is never going to last for the 9 car. It's 10 laps short on fuel. Patrick Smith leads. He has to now lead the final 10 laps here at Rockingham with 2 lap cars in between he and second place Luke Rainey. 3rd Jacob Davidson. 4th Keegan Thompson. 5th place Rivera pretty far back. But now these drivers have to get around this damaged car of Dale Lightning. He is very slow with damage. You see all the hood damage. So it's possibly from coming to pit road. 9 laps of racing to go. They get around the 1 car, but the gap to the 14 increasing every single lap. Something would have to happen to Patrick Smith for Luke Rainey and the others to have a shot. Davidson trying to get around the 6 as well. Luke trying to get around the lap car. Steve Larker right here. You'd think Larker would move out of the way right here and give that 2 the room he needs to try and get up here and battle the 14 car. They have 8 laps to go. Patrick Smith leads in his gap up over a second now. 1.26 seconds. Smith trying to pull away and win a wild and wacky race here at Rockingham. He does have lap traffic, but they are so far ahead, I don't think they'll play an issue. The only thing that can beat Patrick Smith now is himself. We saw with Keegan Thompson, he had a half-second lead over teammate Jacob Davidson, and that half-second was erased in 1 lap when the 6 pounded the wall of turn number 2. Smith cannot do that. He's pulling away. 4/10 that lap he pulled away. And Luke Rainey he's not gaining at all. He's losing a ton. He has cars to deal with, when the 14 has no one near him. He only has 6 laps to go this time by. Patrick Smith trying to steal victory on a night where maybe he didn't have the best car, but he has one now after the pit stop. 6 to go at Rockingham. The gap increased a little bit right there, just about a tenth faster for the 14 that lap. Smooth sailing for Patrick Smith and the 14 team, trying to return Stuart Haas Racing to victory lane here at Rockingham. Smith coming to 5 to go. That's a big sign for him. He wants to see this lap. A yellow flag would end it here at Rockingham. 5 laps of racing to go. 1.7, now 1.8 back to Luke Rainey. The gap opening up each and every lap. No one closing in on the 14 car. So they come down the back stretch. Smith has to hope he has enough fuel to make it. Yepes on the fresh tires coming forward. The A7 moves around Luke Rain. Luke doesn't really lose much time there. Smith now has 4 laps of racing to go. And a nice gap back to the 2. It's about 2 seconds now. The gap is 2 seconds for the 14 Patrick Smith. No lap cars ahead. Yepes is coming, but obviously I don't think he can lose 2 seconds unless he gets crashed by Yepes. 14 moves high, allows the A7 the bottom lane. Patrick Smith has 3 laps left. 3 laps away from a victory in the Gatorade Cup Series in season number 8. The gap closed him. That was because the 14 used a high lane to let the A7 go. Smith was robbed, he would say, of a victory last race at North Wilkesboro, where he had fresher tires and was running down the 77, but yellow came out, which ended the race. Now Smith returns to Rockingham with another fast hot rod and has 2 laps left and a nice gap of about 2 seconds over second place Luke Rainey. 2 laps left here for Patrick Smith at Rockingham. The gap up over 2 seconds again. As he comes down the backstretch, he has to make it to the white flag. Patrick Smith out front late through 3 and 4 using that bottom lane. He'll see the white flag at Rockingham. Last lap of the Oreo 400 for Patrick Smith. He's going to have enough fuel to bring it home. White flag in the air. Last lap, just over a mile left for Patrick Smith. He goes through 1 and 2. The gap's still opening up. Stays nice down to the bottom lane, making sure no mistakes are made. He can coast it down the backstretch and through 3 and 4. It's going to be Patrick Smith's nice. He comes off turn number 4. Robbed of a win last race. He'll get one here at Rockingham. Patrick Smith and the 14 team win at Rockingham. Luke Rainey for the American Red Cross does get second. There's the 6 and the 99 come across, the 12 and the others come across, but the 14 team got out front at the end, and they pulled away with a lap pressure tires from the 2, and Smith wins the Oreo 400 at Rockingham. Let's now go check the finishing results. Here are the finish results from the Oreo 400 at Rockingham. 6 caution flags 6 lead changes, 5 different drivers, no caution flags here tonight. Patrick Smith got out front, led 11 laps. He got to victory lane after starting 30th. It's obviously track position meant nothing for Smith here tonight. He's had the right pit strategy and got to victory lane. Luke Ray didn't even get to lead a single lap. He ends up second. He has some great strategy to get up to the front, but just he didn't have enough time, and obviously something happened with him and some lap cars that allowed the 14, the 6, and the 99 to really close in. Keegan Thompson led the most laps at 22, done at 3rd here tonight. Jacob Davison 4th, he led a lap, and Roberto Rivera 5th. Then we have Max Anderson, Stephen Taylor, Alexander Rowe, Jay Jefferson, Justin Lightning, rounding up the top 10. There's our top 20 here tonight. Trip McGinnis from the pole ends up 15th and led 9 laps. Decent day for him. And look down now, 21st to 4th. 35 cars finished this race on the lead lap. Charles Robert, one of them that led laps on some pit strategy. He ends up falling a lap down because he had to come down pit road one more time than everyone else. Robert ends up 38th here tonight, leading 17 laps. Let's now go look at the points. Here are the point standings after this Oreo 400 at Rockingham. Pinisola keeps the points lead, but is closed down to 43 points over Patrick Smith, who was tied for second with Jacob Davidson. Smith with that win moves up to second. Stephen Taylor now 4th. Trip McGinnis rounds out the top 5. Then Sebastian Kukala up inside 6th. Max Anderson 7th. Justin Landing 8th. Joe Jefferson down to 9th. Anthony Hernandez rounds out the top 10. There's your top 20. You see Lawrence Poundpond just outside chase spot over teammate Anthony Hernandez. Keegan Thompson moves up to 12th with that consistent top 5 finish here tonight. Mathis Wells, Ryan Taylor, Danny Lloyd. There's your Pez. He's fallen down after a bad race here at Rockingham. Stapleton the same there. How about Eli Bright, Tim Gary just inside the top 20. As we look down 21st and 40th. Luke Rain, that's a race he needed. He's had such a struggling season up to this point, and with this great second place finish that moves him up to 24th and still within shot of the top 20. Just need a win or two, and he could still contend for a top 10. I like that's out of the question. Charles Robert, Levi Schoen's obviously having some struggling seasons so far here in season number 8. So race 9 will be held as we go to Chicago for the Geico 400. I'll see you guys then.